Quick question, are you already a fan of Bluey, or are you yet to become one of the world's most famous blue dog fans? In life, there are quick answer questions, like the one I just asked, while others have such complicated answers that they make us ponder for hours. And it's exactly this type of question that our beloved Bluey and her sister Bingo excel at. For example, this happens when Bingo suddenly asks Bandit, how do babies get into mom's tummies? The age-old question about the seed, a story we've all heard in one way or another. In the episode Daddy Put Down, the kids, especially Bluey and Bingo, show a lot of curiosity and want to understand how the seed got into mom's tummy. And let's be honest, this isn't something a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old are quite ready to hear about truthfully. The funniest part is Bandit, knowing this, simply decides he's not going to answer the question. He gives an excuse and leaves Bingo on the swing with that expression we all know. I'm not answering this one right now. Haha. And honestly, can we blame him? It's a delicate answer, and this one really needs to be handled carefully.
Dad.
Yeah?
How does the baby get in the lady's belly?
Anyone who says it's easy to answer is lying, at least if they're answering the right way. Today, we're going to look at the 11 most challenging questions this curious blue dog has asked on her journey. So get ready to explore more of the wonderful world of Bluey with us. Why can we eat some plants but not others? Here's another classic question from Little Bingo, and it definitely deserves a place on the list. In the episode Takeaway, Bingo is full of curiosity and seems to have her inner scientist activated for some reason. The little dog decides to ask her dad why some plants, like lettuce, can be eaten, while others, like the ones we see on the sidewalks or near the sewers, can't. Now tell me, how would you explain to a 4-year-old that this has to do with our body's ability to digest certain plants, while others could cause serious issues? The truth is, answering this question even involves molecular biology and is far from simple. Once again, Bandit has that "what do I do now" look on his face. Ha ha ha, it's definitely not an easy one to answer. We have to admit, being a dad to these little dogs is quite the responsibility. Where was I before I was born? Aside from questions involving deep biology, we see that the two healer sisters have the ability to ask questions that even delve into philosophy. In the episode The Dump, Bluey wants to know where she was before she was born. And while it seems like a simple question, it touches on philosophical, spiritual, and even scientific questions. This is yet another incredibly deep question, and simply saying, "You were in mommy's tummy," doesn't quite cover it. The most interesting part is that Bandit, with all his dad confidence, told his daughters they could ask anything, and he'd answer. But of course, as soon as he hears this question, he realizes he's in a tough spot and decides not to answer. Who can blame him? The answer involves so much that even adults sometimes don't know what to say. Bluey, being Bluey, always asks the hard questions.
Where was I before I was born?
Yeesh. Ask me another one.
Why can't she just have what she wants? This question arises from a touching moment between Bluey and her mother, Chili, in the episode where they meet Aunt Brandy. Chili hadn't seen her sister in 4 years, and during their reunion, Chili mentions that Aunt Brandy really wants something she can never have. This prompts Bluey to ask why she can't just get what she wants. Chili explains that sometimes we simply can't have everything we want. The saddest part is that what Brandy wanted most was to have a puppy, but she was unable to, making it impossible for her to fulfill that wish at the time. This question and the scene in which it occurs are so touching that it's impossible not to be moved. The look on Bluey's face as she tries to understand something so profound makes us reflect too. It's one of those scenes that strikes right at the heart, as the answer is just as difficult as the question itself. Thankfully, in the episode The Sign, we see that Aunt Brandy has finally fulfilled her dream of becoming a mom, and the family will soon welcome a new cousin. In honor of the relentless curiosity that Bluey and Bingo teach us to have, drop a comment with number Y. After all, what would life be without questions, right? Who's your favorite child? This is one of those questions parents dread, but Bandit handled it masterfully when Bluey asked, "They're all my favorites." In the episode Kids, Bluey, like any curious child, questions who the favorite child is, and her dad wisely responds in a way that avoids any issues. However, in the episode Mini Bluey, we see that it actually seems Bandit likes Bingo a bit more than Bluey, which makes the little blue dog feel quite sad. This question touches on deep themes, like the difference between affinity and love. It's important to understand that while we might have more in common with certain people, it doesn't mean the love for them is greater. And we believe that's the case with Bandit and Bingo. They're just more alike, as they're both pretty silly. But Dad Healer surely loves both his daughters equally. In the end, even Bluey realizes that the idea of a favorite isn't nice. Love should be equal for everyone, even if affinities differ. So remember, loving everyone equally is what matters, respecting each one's individuality and closeness.
Snowdrop is my favorite.
Is he going to get better? This is a delicate question that comes up in one of the most touching episodes of Bluey, called Copycat. Bandit and Bluey find an injured bird and take it to the vet, hoping it will recover. However, the vet informs them that the bird didn't make it and passed away. On the way home, Bluey asks her dad if he's sure the bird won't get better. Talking about death is complicated even for adults, so imagine explaining it to a child. Bandit acts sensibly, with honesty. It's important for children to receive honest answers, just like Bluey, so they can process these situations in a healthy way. By the end of the episode, the little blue dog understands that they truly did all they could.
You're a good seatbelt, Dad.
Thanks.
Is everything made of atoms? Again, in the episode Takeaway, Bingo's curiosity about the biological world is at its peak. While Dad takes her for a potty break in the bushes, she suddenly asks, "Is everything made of atoms?" And the answer is yes, everything is made of atoms. But would a simple yes satisfy a child like Bingo? Bandit may have gotten lucky this time, but the truth is, this question involves some pretty deep scientific knowledge. Bandit, being an archaeologist, tries to answer, but he knows explaining atoms in a complete way to a young child is a lot more complicated than it seems. Thankfully, sometimes a maybe can satisfy curiosity, until the next question comes along. Why aren't you married? Here's another tricky question, and this time it's directed at Uncle Radley, Bandit's older brother, who wasn't yet married to Bluey's godmother, Frisky. In the episode Double Babysitter, Bluey wants to know why her uncle isn't married yet. Now, this is one of those questions without a single answer, and as any single person can confirm, the answer is complex. But how do you explain this to a 6-year-old? Uncle Radley, trying to dodge the question, says he's not married because he works in oil. Of course, this isn't the real reason, and Bluey can tell the answer isn't genuine, which shows that kids understand more than we think. In the end, we can't always give a complete answer, but kids always sense when we're not being entirely honest. And best of all, Radley and Frisky eventually became a lovely couple. And if you're a Bluey fan like us, there's nothing better you could do right now than to subscribe to our channel. Trust me, you won't regret it. Is true love not forever? Still in the episode Double Babysitter, Bingo asks another one of those questions. This time, the question was directed at Frisky, Bingo's godmother, who was looking after the girls along with Uncle Radley. The question is especially awkward because there's a spark between Radley and Frisky, but little Bingo, as innocent as always, doesn't notice it. She asks her godmother about Frisky's former boyfriend, believing he was just a friend. Despite the embarrassing situation, Frisky responds honestly, saying she thought that relationship was true love and would last forever, but she was mistaken. This raises an important reflection about what true love really is and how it doesn't always last. But it seems that in her next relationship, with Radley, the love will be forever. How can you be the best boss? In the episode Circus, the Healer family is strolling through the park when Bluey and Bingo notice various posters of candidates running for office. This sparks Bluey's curiosity, and she asks her mom how someone can be the best boss or leader. Chili explains that it's not looks or fancy speeches that make a good boss, but their competence and honesty. This is indeed an important lesson for kids from an early age, but Bluey, with her curious mind, keeps thinking, if everyone has a candidate they believe to be the best, how do you know who is truly the most competent? This question opens the door for the girls, even while they're still young, to start questioning how the adult world works. Will there ever be a weekend that lasts forever? Who hasn't wished for a weekend that lasts forever, right? But Bluey's question goes beyond this common wish and reveals a child's curiosity to understand what the weekend is and why it's so important to adults. While kids have their school routines, they don't yet understand the need for rest after a long week of hard work. For adults, the weekend represents well-deserved rest after 44 hours of work or more. Now, how do you explain all that to a child? That's the real question. These were definitely the 11th most difficult questions Bluey and Bingo have ever asked. But now comes the most important question. How can you keep having fun? My answer? Just click on one of these 2 videos we've chosen for you. The choice will be fantastic, and you'll have great fun exploring Bluey's world.